titled this, No is Not an Answer, and Think Big. I haven't quite got the title worked out yet, but I'll keep working on it. This, again, from Linda. Well, we worked about 100, 120 hours a week at the beginning. Bill Daniels was quite the workaholic, if you haven't figured it out yet. And it's absolutely incredible. Never had an experience in my life that even came close in terms of being entrepreneurial, challenging, fun. He had his marketing guy working on the grand opening plans for the kids' bank. Well, first of all, I told Bill, you can't afford my salary. This is Linda speaking. You can't pay that. You can't take that kind of cut in pay out of the kids' bank. I've done the projections. Bill said, I'll do it off balance sheet. I said, Linda said, for how long? Till I die. Which he did. Die, and my salary was out of Bill's parent company, not out of the bank. So he had his marketing guy draw up the grand opening plans, and they were for $250,000, a marketing plan. You would have liked this in marketing. Okay. I said, you can't do that. And Linda goes to the marketing guy. They're watching this kids' bank like a hawk because the customers are all under 18. They are all minors. These things just are fraught with problems. And you can't spend that much capital on a startup. So Bill calls me and says, Linda, I understand you don't like the marketing plan. Linda says, what's not to like? I love the marketing plan. You just can't do it. Picture that. Bill says, well, I can pay for it myself. If we're going to do this at all, I want people to know about it. So Linda has to call the commissioner, that's in charge of all the banking and the ways that banks work in America. He says, okay, this is what Bill Daniels wants to do. Now, do you have a problem with that? And the bank examiner official says no. He doesn't have a problem with Bill investing his own money. So we had 3 weeks of grand opening. We had NBC, ABC, CBS, Nightly News all there. It was a big splash across the country. Tons of media about the little bank. And it wasn't about the bank, it was about the message. And that message I told you in the last storytelling was financial literacy. But I think I counted at one time 16 different regulatory or legal hurdles that we had to address to make this thing happen. And telling Bill no was never an option. We started a student loan portfolio early on, and it fit. Here's this kid's bank, and they're not going to have a lot of borrowing needs, but student loans seemed a logical fit. Did that communicate? All right. If there's a banker next to you, just ask them to explain it. Did it work out? One of the rules that Linda talked about is the 50-50 rule. And they came across this rule in opening the kids' bank because, if you're going to make loans to kids, it comes under the Higher Education Act. And this is what this next example is about. I've been in banking a long time, but not that long. Right? And there's volumes and volumes of regulatory commission, but I never heard of the 50-50 rule. Basically, it says that you cannot have more money in student loans than you do in consumer loans. So for any other bank, this isn't an issue because they have mortgages and cars. But for this bank, we had students, kids, 8, 9, 12 years old, and they want dog loans, cat loans, hamster loans, things like that. So it was a big issue, the 50-50 rule. So I called the commissioner again. Said, what have I done? And the commissioner said, I never heard of it either, the 50-50 rule. But let me check it out. He checked it out, and it's serious. It was put in by the Department of Education to avoid having financial institutions reformed for the pure purpose of just doing student loans. And we know now all the catastrophe that's important legislation. And there's a penalty, and there's a cease and desist order on the kids' bank. So Linda says, okay, I know what I need to do. So I started packaging the loans to sell them. Gave Bill periodic updates. Said I made a mistake in getting into the student loan business with these kids' banks. Bill shook his head. I'm really disappointed in you, Linda. I'm disappointed in myself. And it's about, he wants to have the kids bank so the kids learn literacy so they can have their little gerbil loans, right? And pay them back and learn the discipline, right? But Bill says what he's disappointed about. You're solving the wrong problem. Cease and desist order, gotta sell, say more, Linda says. Bill says, get an exception. Because we've done this, and now this is the Fed and the FDIC and the state and all those things. He had this idea that he could fix anything. I said, Bill, this is the Department of Higher Ed. This is Congress. This is Higher Ed Reauthorization Act. It's the size of the Denver phone book. He wanted me to go to Washington, D.C. to testify in all the education and finance committees about the importance of financial literacy. He didn't care if we made another student loan for gerbils, right? And we didn't. But we got the exception. 5 years that took. You remember those years.
Listen, the bank never had a cease and desist order. That's
okay.
That was a potential penalty.
I ad-libbed a little bit. I'll straighten that out.